Hello, this short webinar is a part of the U.S. Constitutional series, and it's titled States and the People Are the Final Authority, and should give us all something to think about. Referring to the Declaration of Independence, the 13 colonies were not coming together to form a new nation. Now that might surprise you, but they were coming together to fight for the independence of 13 states. It says, "We, therefore the representatives of the United States of America." Take a look at this. It's not a capital U, United States of America. It's a lowercase u, United States of America. I believe the Declaration of Independence is one of the most amazing political documents in the world, and how things are capitalized and how things are stated and contrasted are very important. It's a rich document that as you read through it over and over again, you discover new things and new principles, even though they're right before your eyes. Let's take a further look at this. These united colonies are, and of right ought to be, free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved. Again, look at these underlined items. United colonies, lowercase u, uppercase c, and then capital independent states. And they're contrasting these 13 independent states with the state of Great Britain. And by doing so, they're making the statement that each of the 13 colonies that were being declared as independent states were equal states to that of the state of Great Britain. So again, they were not making a statement in the Declaration of Independence that they were forming one new nation state. They were coming together united as 13 independent nation states, every one of which would be equal to the state of Great Britain. Let's take a look at this again in a further way. As free and independent states, they have the full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and to do all the other acts and things which independent states may of and right do. Again, they were claiming these powers for each of the 13 states that were declaring their independence together, not a assignment of power to a single nation state. We, therefore, the representatives of the lowercase United States of America. The Declaration did not declare the colonies as a free and independent nation, or even a free and independent state, but in the plural, free and independent states. So when they came to form the Constitution in 1787, they came as 13 states with independent constitutions to form one federal constitution. In 1787, the 13 states came together to approve a delegation of just 18 enumerated powers to what they called the general government. The states retained all other powers for themselves or the people living within their borders. Their state constitutions and governments were all very much in place and in force. Thomas Jefferson clearly articulates this understanding. He says the Constitutional Convention delegates constituted a general government for special purposes and delegated to that government certain definitive powers. So what he's saying here is the states only relinquished a small amount of power to the federal government. And whensoever the general government assumes undelegated powers, its acts are unauthoritative, void, and of no force. What he's saying here is when the federal government exercises a power it does not have a right to exercise, it is operating unconstitutionally. He goes on. To this compact, each state is seated as a state, and is an integral party, its co-states forming, as to itself, the other part. And so what he's saying here is the 13 states were 13 co-parties in the forming of this federal government. And so he goes on, the government created by this compact was not made the exclusive or final judge of the extent of the powers delegated to itself, since that would have made its discretion and not the Constitution the measure of its powers. So what Jefferson's saying here is the federal government's not the judge of how much power it has and how much authority it has. The states are the judge of that because they were the parties that formed the compact, i.e. the federal Constitution, and therefore they're the owners of what the federal Constitution says, not those filling federal offices. They wanted to stress this to such a degree that many states required that a Bill of Rights be appended to the Constitution in order for it to pass. And the 10th Amendment really articulates these ideas once again. The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively, or to the people. Now sometimes this middle phrase throws us off, so let me just wipe that out for a second and read this through a second time. The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution are reserved to the states respectively, or to the people. Now that's something to think about. The states and the people are the final authority. My name's Craig Seibert. Thanks for listening.